Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps, everybody, and to the second race weekend of action for this brand new series. Peter Auto running in conjunction with Le Mans Endurance Management and the ACO Legends of Le Mans, with some fabulous LMP1, LMP2, LMP3 and GT cars. And at the front of the grid, a new driver to the series, but a regular in Le Mans rules racing in the European Le Mans Series, Greek driver Crichton Lendoudis, and he is in one of the Peugeot 908 HDI FAPs, these fabulous diesel engine Peugeots, which have been bought up lock, stock and barrel, and now delighted to see them out and about racing. Graham Goodwin.
Yeah, Crichton Lendoudis, in fact, back-to-back racing weekends, and he was a winner last time out at the European Le Mans Series 11P2 Pro-Am. Here's the Swiss Spirit liveried Lola B0710, Michel Frey from Race Performance, Swiss team, making their comeback to racing in this, let's call it post-historic formula. Michel, quite the driver in his day in open-top LMP2 cars back then. This time, he's turned it up to 11 with this monstrous V10 Judd-powered Lola. There's one of two being run by the team in this grid. Here's the third car on the order, Martin.
Yeah, and this is Sean Lynn, who is running in the Peugeot in Orica colours. This car run in period by Hugues de Schonack. And, of course, he was instrumental not only in helping Peugeot run these extra cars at Le Mans, but the car win, or the team won in Sebring with a car in the same livery as well. So not just an important sort of supporter of the team, but also a race winner for them. And alongside him is Stuart Wiltshire. Now, Stuart in a slightly different version of the 908, the early version of the 908.
This is the later version.
The later version, rather, which dates back to 2011.
It does, this car. Coulda, shoulda, woulda been part of the FIA World Endurance Championship. This chassis was prepared, re-prepared as a hybridized 908 and was at the ill-fated test where Peugeot decided to pull out. You have a quick look there, and in the pit lane in the background, you'll see the white and red car of Francois Perraudot. That car will start from pit lane after Francois was a very naughty boy and crossed the exit line at pit exit. This is the second of the big banger Lolas. This is a B06 chassis. Again, an LMP1 chassis, late of the Intersport team, with John Field, their team owner. Back to racing this year, John, and again with the big V10 Judd, and Marcel Eby, who's the driver aboard this car, the team manager back in the day of Race Performance. We'll talk about Francois' epic little car once we see that on track. That's the 5 cars we have this afternoon in LMP1. We have LMP2 cars effectively in 2 classes. Jean-Baptiste Le Hay here at the wheel of the number 21 Oak Pescarola, run by JMB Classic, and his brother Mathieu raced the car last time out. And, this car will race in an invitation class because Jean-Baptiste is a silver rank driver. We've got one more class in that status a little later. Nice little grid of LMP2s here, which reflects the variety we saw in period. The period for LMP2 here is up to and including 2016. Here is Alexandre Leroy in the IDEX Sport entered Ligier GSP2. Pretty little car, and multiple race wins for these cars back in the day. IDEX Sport, of course, still a current European Le Mans Series and Le Mans team, and a team, by the way, that have got heritage with the current Genesis Magna Racing team. Sam Smith, by the way, Lola guru, with us in the booth, and tells me Julian Soule, the designer of the 2 LMP1 Lolas, is the designer too of the current Aston Martin Valkyrie. And there's a guy with one hell of a sketchbook. His Etch-a-Sketch must be epic.
So cars sitting on the grid, ready for a 40-minute mini enduro here, and whatever your particular favourite era of sports cars, I don't think there can be any question that every single one of us would slightly envy and also possibly fear these drivers for what they've got in front of them. These very close to recent period LMP1 and P2 cars, and the awesome Spa-Francorchamps. Now we've got a bit of an issue for Professor Wolfgang Hensler in his Commentator Lotus.
One of two, this car, 2011 Lotus Evora GTE, raced in the ILMC, the precursor to the FIA World Endurance Championship, and then that car in that livery in the American Le Mans Series in 2012. Let's hope they can get this one rolling. There is our starting grid, Martin.
Yeah, Crichton Lentudis starts along on pole position alongside him, Michel Frey, with Sean Lynn and Stuart Wiltshire, meaning there are 3 Peugeots in the top 4. And then in LMP2, it is Jean-Baptiste Lehay ahead of Alexandre Roy, Andy Cummings and Yevgeny Kiryev, with David Cheng returning to motor racing, a new dad just a couple of weeks ago in a Greaves Motorsport Nissan engine car, and Pierre Arret, who was out for Rinaldi Racing last time out as well. Frans Wunderlich in the orange, Aston Martin, and Professor Wolfgang Hensler in the pit lane. Francois Perraudot will make his start from there in the LMP2 Porsche, the giant killing car. There it is, the giant killing car from particularly American Le Mans Series, also a class winner at Le Mans, the RS Spyder, and the car which donated its engine architecture to the current 963 hypercar.
It did. That car, the story we told the first time out in Imola, but it bears repeating. That car, Francois is aboard, actually is the spares package for the original car from Horag Racing. They determined that it was a better prospect to buy an entire car rather than a box of bits. And
well, it is a quicker swap if you stack one. Let's just get a perfectly race-ready one out of the garage.
Yeah, Francois Perraudot, of course, another driver, as with Crichton Lentudis. It's still in contemporary competition again. He got a good race at the European Le Mans Series, on course to win in LMP2 Pro-Am, but a late penalty controversially put them way down the order. Here's a first for us in the Legends of Le Mans, the number 33 car from BBM Sport in the hands of Alfie Briggs. And Alfie, the karting son of Steve Briggs, the second B after Berridge in BBM, the M being Minasian. And this next Level 5 motorsport car, a team with a rich history, and an ending of which was somewhat controversial. If you're watching, Scott, see you soon. That car, by the way, now sporting a Judd V8 engine rather than the HPD engine of its original spec, and I think it's that car as well that had some real drama here at Spa in its first season. Big accident up at Ravion, but back in very fine Vettel, handsome looking thing. The Porsche pace car brings the cars around for, let's hope, an orderly start. Did the Lotus get away?
I don't see it anywhere.
It is on the tracker.
Yeah, so it is catching the rest of the field. Lucky car number 13, so Professor Wolfgang Hensler clearly not too worried about the numbers on the cars.
Massive, there it is, at the back of the order. Massive Lotus collector. Had a long chat with him at Imola. Always a delight to speak to someone who knows of what he speaks. That's why we have Sam in the booth here. He's going to tell us everything about Lola shortly.
Ooh, now then, this is very bad news indeed, because Sean Lynn pulling into the pit lane in the Oreca Peugeot. And as we go green, it is a battle between Crichton Lentudis, the blue, white and black Peugeot, and Michel Frey with the colours of Switzerland. Lentudis goes deep in under the braking, and away goes Michel Frey. The LMP2 field, there in the Nissan livery, red and white number 41. The Greaves Motorsport entered car, or previously Greaves Motorsport entered car, is David Cheng, the DC of Jackie Chan DC Racing, run by Jota in LMP2 for a number of years. And congratulations to him on having a new baby son, a very new baby son.
Indeed, delighted. Sean Lynn on pit lane. Francois Perraudot released, I think, somewhat belatedly from pit lane. So he'll now be trying to chase it down. He was mighty in that car. Alfie Briggs taking a look at the inside at Lecombe, the inside of David Cheng. So that could well be a battle. First time we've seen the Zytek out in competition, Legends of Le Mans. Hopefully more of the same to come. Pretty car, and a car beloved by the drivers of the period. Competitive right up to the end, taking the final European Le Mans Series title in 2016. Not this car, but a similar car. This is an original Greaves Motorsport car, the car that took Jan Mardenborough to a spectacular debut at the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
So that is your battle for 7th place. David Cheng ahead of Alfie Briggs, then Alexandre Leroy and Yevgeny Kiriev. Kiriev in the G-Drive liveried LMP2 car, ahead of Mark Drain and Pierre Eret. And side by side, through goes Briggs, catching David Cheng down on the run, down into Piff Paff, and Cheng immediately under pressure from Alexandre Leroy. Leroy dropping back in the early few corners, on the curbs on the inside, trying to avoid contact. Diametric opposite of what you'll probably see in Saturday's race. Not that there'll be LMP2 cars in it, but drivers tend not to worry too much about staying out of the way of each other as pro drivers.
I tell you that Francois Perrodo has already caught and passed the Lotus and is closing in now on Frans van der Leek's Fanta Racing entered XTF Sports. Aston Martin is past that too. So a gap now for him to get onto terms with the last of the LMP2 runners, other than himself. 4 seconds, let's see how quickly that can change.
I think Crichton Lentudis there, as we picked that up late, probably having another lunge at Michel Frey down into La Source, sweeping through Eau Rouge. They should have enough heat in the tyres now to really start to monster them. Yeah, here we go, he's going to look around the outside, and then as Frey peels off down on the inside line, Lentudis just running a little deep under braking, but up the Kemmel Straight. Here comes the challenge for the lead to Lecombe, and again showing his nose early.
Ponies under the rear engine cover of that Lola. Looks to me, looking out from our commentary position, as Shawman will not be taking any further part in the race. Two very different answers to the LMP2 question in the pre-2017 era. One rather more successful than the other. The lead car here, Mark Drain, running in the number 39 car, the Tequila Patron ESM livery car. This is the ARX 04, the HPD car that raced just once in period at the 24 Hours of Daytona with real problems with the aero. Look at how quickly Francois Perrodo has caught them. This is the sole remaining 2015 spec car. There is a 2016 Evo version of the car, but this is a unique car on the planet, behind the JSP2 Ligier, just being removed from its current position by Francois Perrodo. And the number 18, no, he isn't. Oh, that was a big wiggle for Francois.
Well, Francois showed his nose down the inside of Pierre Eret, and then realised that that door was going to be firmly closed by the time he got there, and had to take avoiding action and up onto the grass. A little bit of a moment, so I'm sure there was a degree of a code brown going on there.
Alfie Briggs, meanwhile, has gone ahead of Alexandre Leroy in the EDEC Sport 28. Ligier, and he's going to try and head off in pursuit of Andy Cummings in the JWA Motorsport run. Oak Pescarolo, KCMG's first entry into ACO Rules Racing. Is this the moment the Peugeot goes ahead? But no, again, Michel Frey.
The straights are definitely long enough here. They're more suited to the Peugeot, perhaps, than they were in Imola. And
now he goes for it.
Yeah, he's just going to have to take his courage in both hands and send it. Lick the stamp and away he goes. And now, if he stays in front of Michel Frey, he needs to, just start to stretch that advantage up the hill where that Peugeot diesel power should play out. 41 David Cheng ahead of Yevgeny Kiriev. This is the battle of 10th place now.
This is a car, the bright orange Oreca 05 running period by Jota Sports. And the Oreca 05 successful here at Spa in WEC competition. Here's the change, that is the pass, and neatly done by Crichton. Needed a bit of confidence there, didn't he?
Well, you have to. I mean, it's not a cheap thing, and seen from a number of drivers in those cars over the years, you do want to have 2 or 3 laps under your belt before you really start to lean on it. And there you just saw again the replay. Francois Perrodo bailing out of trouble. This time, though, he goes around the outside of Pierre Eret. So he is up now to 11th place and to 5th place in LMP2, ahead of the Rinaldi Racing Machine of Eret, the Morgan.
So just 5 minutes into the race, Lentudis leads from Michel Frey. Stuart Wiltshire, slightly distant 3rd place at the moment, fending off Marcel Ibi in the 2nd of the Big Banger Lolas. JB Classics entered 21. Oak Pescarolo, Jean-Baptiste Lehay, the leader of the 2 invitation class cars. That is opening up a bit of a gap as Crichton Lentudis puts in the fastest lap of the race on Andy Cummings, 2nd of the LMP2 spec cars, but leading LMP2 proper. and he's being caught now by a charging Alfie Briggs, who's bringing Alexandre Leroy with him. So this could get interesting in the next lap or two.
Should be fun, shouldn't it? Let's take a look here. This is the G-Drive car, little lock-up from David Cheng.
Well, I think little is a slight understatement.
Well, it is
there.
a little lock-up, but it's in super slow-mo, so it goes off down the hill. That would have been a fractional stop of the rotation. Long look in the mirrors from the driver of the KCMG car, Andy Cummings. Really long look in the mirrors to see who it is, what it is, and how fast they're coming.
Well, one of the things I learned from having a quick trot around the pit lane and the paddock for Legends of Le Mans at Imola, it's not just the cars and some of the drivers that are from days of yore, it's some of the crew members too. Great to see some of the old friends from a decade and a half ago back in action.
You're not talking about our normal booth colleague Anthony Davidson, are you? No.
Lots
a
of
legend definitely, but not elderly yet. But yeah, Anthony Davidson certainly in Imola reunited with a couple of the cars he drove, the Peugeot and also the Lola Aston Martin, the V12 engined Lola Aston, which was in Imola, is not here but will return hopefully later in the season.
Francois Perrotta, by the way, working on the gap now to Evgeny Kirev in that number 46 Oreca 05. Francois up into 11th overall, 5th in LMP2, and he's got plenty of time to work this problem.
And Perrotta did have the fastest first sector of the entire field until just now, when Crichton Lentudis went a little quicker in the Peugeot. The race leading car does have the fastest lap from lap 2. Leaders are now on lap 4 of the race.
So these cars supported the WEC in Imola. They're here, of course, in Spa for 2 races this weekend. Then next show for them will be the Le Mans Classic, now an annual event co-promoted by Peter Otto with the ACO and ASO involved in that. And it will be the even years where the more modern cars are on view for the 6-figure crowds that turn out for an absolute festival of motoring. And the odd numbered years, so 2027, will be the earlier cars in the history of the great race.
I kind of understand why they've had to split it, because there are so many cars and so many eras now that you want to represent, because of course time doesn't stand still. It didn't stop at the end of Group C or at the end of GT1 or at the end of anything, and so you want to keep representing, you know, recent history. But I still think, you know, if you've got everything pre-1960 in one year, then that's a very different audience from everything post-1960. And I'd like to see a mixing of modern and older together.
Yeah, I think we'll get to see that. And I think as this series grows, there's every promise that we could see this series on the support bill for the 24 hours proper in the odd years. And that would be a great thing. And I think that would go very well indeed with the always enthusiastic.
But again,
crowd.
you know, imagine as one of the support events for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, having Bentleys and Alfa Romeos and all of that going around as well. You know, that would be absolutely, I mean, all the years I've been going, that's never happened.
The Le Mans history is such a key part of the appeal of the great race, and it is a festival of motorsport. And actually, if you've not been to Le Mans Classic, do go. It's no less good an atmosphere, just a slightly less large crowd. That was
Evgeny Kirev just doing a drive-through for reasons that we are unaware of.
Maybe they wanted to take a look at the car.
Well, he didn't slow down and stop. He just drove through the pit lane and carried on.
Crichton Lentudis, by the way, fastest lap of the race, 2:08.392. Also, I think I saw a penalty coming the way of Stuart Wiltshire in the number 6 car, and I think that might have been track limits.
Well, track limits also being applied to Michel Frey, so he's being a little bit fast and loose in this car with the track limits. As you say, you know, in our recent history in the commentary booth for endurance racing, Michel Frey very much a frontline driver. Car 6-5, second time penalty for a 3rd infringement, Stuart Frey.
That's what I thought I'd see.
Michel Frey rather, not Stuart Wiltshire.
No, that is Stuart Wiltshire.
I know it
car
is.
6.
Yeah.
Car 5 is
I'm getting car 6 and 5-second penalty mixed up.
This is getting interesting. This is Stuart holding off Marcellipi, but they're pretty much even Stevens. Francois Perrotta puts in the fastest middle sector of the race. And that's...
Alfie Briggs in the black car diving by and picking up 2 positions, so he goes ahead of the car of Andy Cummings, who drops back 2. He's in the white and blue open KCMG car, and in the middle, Alexandre Leroy. The EDEC Sport car follows the black machine through, so he picks up 1. In fact, no, he picks up 1, and
as does Leroy. It's basically Andy just shuffled back. I don't think he was very impressed with that. Let's take another look at this. Alfie already by. It was Leroy trying to get at the inside. Was there contact?
I don't think there was.
Oh, was there contact? No, there wasn't. It was all, but both cars off track. Now, the argument from Andy Cummings will be, you finished that overtake off track.
To which Leroy will say, I was just trying to keep myself safe because you nearly put me on the grass into the braking area at the bus stop. And then Andy Cummings outbrakes himself. Yeah.
It was, I think, trying to get back up the inside. Michel Doppelmayr, is that in trouble, or was that a slow-mo?
I think that was just a lovely slow-mo to allow us to get back to a shot of Mark Drain in the WA Motorsport Tequila Patron entry.
Great looking car, great looking livery. Unfortunately, in its period, woefully unsuccessful, but going nicely here. Mark, sure, very proud of it. Here we go, David Cheng and Francois Perraudot.
Raced each other in period in
I think they did.
They did, yeah, no, absolutely. Jackie Chan DC Racing, of course, almost won Le Mans outright with the cars run by Jota, but the very much delayed Porsche eventually came back to win it. But yeah, they were very much rivals in period. And Francois Perraudot, a multiple World Endurance Champion, both in LMP2 and also in GTE AM.
Yeah, David, one of only 6 men in the history of the modern sport to finish on the overall podium at Le Mans in an LMP2 car. Second in LMP2, but 3rd overall with those 2 Jackie Chan DC racing cars run by Jota Sport, and the DC is David Cheng.
What a day of days that was for the team.
Josh?
Yeah, it really was. Now and again, under pressure here, Alfie Briggs, and sending it fully down the inside, Alexandre Leroy.
Who's off the track in the same position
same
again.
Place, yeah. That, then, I think you have to give that back. That was definitely him making a mistake and nobody else involved. They will look at the previous laps incident with Andy Cummings. 28 and 47 this time. That'll be, Leroy and Cummings will be investigated.
Just double checking, by the way, Francois did indeed start that same 2017 24 Hours of Le Mans in an LMP2 car, eliminated in the TDS Racing Run car in an accident after a couple of 100 laps, that car. But
that was the one with the Corvette, wasn't it?
No, that was later. That was later.
That was a more recent.
So here we've got David Cheng still fending off Francois Perraudot. 2 very different takes on the red and white LMP2 car theme.
Yeah, very much so.
But both absolutely iconic race cars. Francois, with his number 83, goes around the outside. Can he keep that one going? If he can, that'll be an epic little move. And I think he's going to do it, and he does. Brilliantly done by Francois.
And what did he tell us about that car in Imola? He said, this has got more grip than anything I have ever driven, by a massive margin. And it just showed that he just drove around the outside of David Cheng like he was in an LMP3 car, not an LMP2 car.
And it's fair to say, remember, much as it's the older car of the 2, it came from a period where LMP2 was gripped by a couple of the factories and squeezed for all it could possibly give. We then returned to production-based engines.
Also then, what was Francois Perraudot doing last weekend?
He was racing
in the ELMS. What was David Cheng doing at home with his little baby?
He was changing nappies.
Exactly. So David has done, I think, 2 races in about 4 years or something, he was saying. So very much feeling his way back in. And you're coming around the outside. OK, you've got the grip to do it. Away you go, Sunbeam.
Michael Doppelmayr has indeed pitted. The Rinaldi Racing entered the ex-United Autosports Ligier. And just looking to see, about, I think, to be passed by the Lotus, running last on the road at the moment. But Crichton and Tudis is pulling away here. Although Michel Frey showing signs of life, there is the Lotus. Not up to full speed, methinks. Was he just letting traffic go by? No, he's not.
Well,
maybe he is.
no, I think maybe he was just making space for them to go by into a Rouge Radiant.
Why doing it in a Rouge Radiant? Here comes Francois Perroda to put a lap on the little Lotus. So, quick chat about this car, 2011. There is the JSP2 getting a clean screen. That seems to indicate they might want to send the car again.
Yeah.
Something awry.
Well, he's not bailing out, is he? It does have a little feel of Control-Alt-Delete here, doesn't it?
It does, so
Let's
we'll wait
just
and see.
turn it off and on again.
As you can see, it connects United Autosports car, and they had some success in period with those cars.
Back with our race leader, Crichton Lentudis.
209.091 last time around, and is now 11 seconds plus ahead of Michel Frey, who's 10 seconds ahead of the second Peugeot in the order. As we surmised, no sign of Sean then re-emerging.
No, he came in, the car was parked, and there was no sign of work going on, door open, and he got out, so that was that. Meanwhile,
Mark Drain is catching Evgeny Kirov here, and I think there's a problem with this this Orica. Did he have a... So this is...
well, Drain had gone by, and then Kirov in the G-Drive car down the inside.
Kirov lost the place by running through pit lane. That's what happened.
Yes, yeah, a couple of laps ago, and then Mark Drain was ahead of him and is now not. Pierre Arret pinged for track limits on that last lap, so was Alfie Briggs, and so was Michael Doppelmayr. Meanwhile, here is our race leader, Crichton Lentudis, and that's a puncture, right rear puncture.
That's the LMP2 leader, that's Alexandre Leroy. He'd been off track a couple of times, and maybe a bit of curbage has finally got that car to say that's enough for the afternoon, Alexandre. That means Alfie Briggs is now up ahead of the Ligier.
That means that Francois Perroda from the pit lane now leads in LMP2.
It does indeed, ahead of Andy Cummings.
Yeah.
So how far back is Francois from Alfie Briggs? The answer is under 3 seconds.
Bits of gravel here have been causing punctures. We had a puncture in free practice 3 for one of the Porsches in LMGT3. And that looks like, again, well, that's right rear, whereas it left rear it was for Richie Leitz.
As he comes in, by the way, he's getting a warning flag for driving standards. That will be the off-road escapades for Alexandre. So that's the least of his worries at the moment. Is there a spare tyre for the car? We'll soon see. Here's Andy Cummings trying to get onto terms with Alfie Briggs. And the laziest half spin you'll ever see, but that was enough for Francois Perroda to get up the inside, in fact the outside here. They are indeed going to put a new Michelin tyre on board the car. Michelin...
New used.
Yeah, indeed, partners with the Legends of Le Mans.
Part owned. One former careful owner, at least you hope it was careful.
Need Export guys go to work. And we're just checking for damage.
And your reference a little earlier to Idexport and their relationship with Genesis Magma Racing. They ran 2 cars last year, as they have done for a number of years in the European Le Mans Series, but they had the Genesis Magma Racing drivers in the team and engineers with them.
Yes, they did.
All part of, in the way that WRT did, coming into LMP2 before stepping up to a prototype program in Hypercar.
And you're right, in this case, it's a way of training their crew in the real set, but also talent spotting, and that's why Mathis Jobert is aboard a Hypercar this year, together with Danny Juncadella and Pippa Durrani. This is Francois Perroda taking a look at Alfie Briggs. This, by the way, is for 6th overall. Whatever happens, Francois will still lead the LMP2 class, because Alfie, as a silver rank driver, is ranked as an invitation entry here, as is Jean-Baptiste Lehay, who is pulling away here. Up the inside he goes, no point in fighting that from Alfie.
And so he moves up into 6th overall. Alfie Briggs still second in the invitational class. Now the gap for Francois Perroda is 22 seconds to JB Lehay.
Well, we'll see.
19 minutes to catch 22 seconds.
He could have some fun trying, couldn't he?
I don't doubt he's going to have a lot of fun trying.
But that's what we call used.
Done. They're trying to figure out what it was. This is the Michelin tyre engineer trying to figure out what it was that caused the deflation. It's not an obvious...
Curbage, methinks.
Yeah, actually, Richie Leeds, we heard, not just a puncture, but a broken rim as well.
Oh,
so
really?
something, yeah, so something maybe a bit more than just gravel had smashed the rim. Okay, so end of the road there for Alexandre Leroy.
I did this, it did that. The international
Oui,
sign language of frustration.
Fastest, no, we haven't got a fastest lap.
It was Crichton, 2:08.392 on lap 4 for
No,
Crichton.
for Francois Perraudot. I wanted to know what
I think you're
he's
about to
lapping
find
at.
it.
His last lap was a 2-minute 12.8. 2-minute 13.0 for JB LaHaye. So
But what we know about this car, Martin, is in straight line terms, it's not the best. And that in Sector 1 is a bit more of a problem. Sector 2, the things have been lightning. And indeed, literally as I say it, he goes through and puts in a purple middle sector. And to give you an idea how good that car is in the middle sector, that lap is 3 seconds quicker in the middle sector than the leading car overall.
not that lap, that sector. He's
Sector.
3 seconds in that sector quicker than the leading car.
What a sound that thing makes.
Well, and this again, you know, these are not all absolutely period equivalent cars. They're of the same era, but not necessarily the same period. But again, different shapes, different colours, different noises. Francois Perraudot, 2:10.8 last time round.
There you go.
2:13.1 for Jean-Baptiste LaHaye, who is trying to chase, and 2:11.2 for Crichton Lemtunis. So if Francois had started on the grid as opposed to in the next county...
I think what we're going to have fun here is, can Francois catch Jean-Baptiste LaHaye? That's the fun that's left in that little tussle. That's a Swiss Spirit car, an original part season entry in the Le Mans series of old, and originally raced with an Audi engine, a twin-turbo engine from the Audi R8. It was not a successful project, but very similar, but a year earlier chassis, the white car there in the hands of Marcel Ibi, who is now beginning to drop back a little from Stuart Wiltshire.
Well, and into the clutches of Jean-Baptiste LaHaye. And actually, if this turns into a battle, here is LaHaye in the Pescarolo, then the longer this goes on, the better it is for Francois Perraudot, because he's in clear air, whooping along.
And by the way, the LaHaye brothers are also contemporary sports car competitors in their LMP3 team, the Ultimate team. The LaHaye brothers from the family of the haulage concern of the same name.
The family of LaHaye.
The family of LaHaye, but in fact the LaHaye family.
Yep, Mathieu and Jean-Baptiste. What's their dad's name again?
Mr. LaHaye.
No, because he raced with them as well. At one stage it was both boys and dad.
Oh, was it
2 or
really?
3 years ago when they first came in, Ultimate.
Car 47, that's Andy Cummings, is going to get a 5-second time penalty, a third infringement of track limits. Michel Doppelmayr, is he going to...
It does look like they might be preparing to release the Doppelmayr.
Okay, off he goes. Another fastest middle sector from Francois Perraudot. It just goes to show where the strength of this car is, doesn't it? As an indication, Martin, he's just done his fastest first sector. That first sector is almost 2 seconds off the time done on this lap by Crichton Lemtunis in the first sector, but he's going to be quicker than him in the middle sector.
Yeah, but his target is the car ahead of him, Jean-Baptiste LaHaye.
He's already 18 seconds back, not 22.
Yeah.
So it's coming down quickly. It's another fastest lap of his race for Francois Perraudot. 17.7 seconds, 15 minutes to go.
Yep.
Game on.
It's going to be interesting. Andy Cummings, having just been handed a penalty for a third infringement in track limits, has just been pinged for a fourth time for track limits. Yevgeny Kiriev also pinged for track limits, as has Michel Doppelmayr on his outlap.
Alfie Briggs pits in the 33 car. Now, why is that? Team, there's something, by the look of it, loose on the top of the car. They've opened up the race team toolbox. They've put aside the screwdriver and the hammer. They're using the race tape.
Now, this is the same crew that have just pushed the Orica Peugeot out of the way. They just saw him just about getting away. That didn't seem the most comfortable getaway. Here is the 47 car of Andy Cummings, this KCMG livery car.
These cars do sound good. I stood and watched one of the practice sessions a couple of days ago with these cars. They sound glorious around here. They really do.
Yeah.
Tudis leads 16 seconds to the good, still lapping quicker than his nearest pursuer, Michel Frey, who is well clear of Stuart Wiltshire in the second of the Peugeots.
There is Monsieur Michel. Twin intakes for the V10.
Marcel Ibi not being dropped that quickly and is still under pressure from behind by Jean-Baptiste Le Hay.
But Marcel Ibi avoiding all the gravel tracks so far.
After, I have to say, one of the most entertaining races I've seen. we had a bit of a
properly threw it as everything at Imola, didn't he?
He was finding where the grip wasn't regularly and having a whale of a time.
Certainly explored the safety measures everywhere, and is that the race leader?
No, that is the third place car.
Wiltshire. Yes, it is, facing the wrong way, car number 6.
Now.
So he's now down to 5th place. Jean-Baptiste Le Hay's gone by. Next around the corner will be Francois Perraudot. There is fire in the hold.
There goes Francois. He managed to avoid the Peugeot. And he managed to do that.
Nicely done, Stuart Wiltshire.
So Perraudot claims another place. What happened here?
Outbraked himself at La Source.
Yeah, just tried to get the power in too early, didn't he? And around the rear came Marcel Ibi.
The problem is the road drops away there, quite dramatic. You don't see it from this view, but you certainly do from on board. The road just drops right away at the curb.
So that drops him back to 6th overall and drops him off the podium in LMP1. So at the moment, Peugeot, Lola.
Sam Smith, formerly of the parish of Huntingdon, has left us.
Yeah, indeed. Great to see Lola back, by the way.
Yeah.
Till Becktonsheimer investing in the company, back of course in Formula E.
And probably only 40 years later than anybody expected, releasing a road version of the awesome T70. Because if there was ever a car that cried out to be a silly road car, the Lola T70 is it.
So 12 minutes to go. How's that battle going with Jean-Baptiste Le Hay? The answer is under 15 seconds. Yeah. Still coming down nicely, and 3 seconds quicker last time around.
No visible emissions, obviously, from that diesel engine.
Period correct. It's a feature, sir. Here's the glorious 2020. Last time this car raced at Aston Martin, a car that raced both of the GT3 in its early years with TF Sports, with Oman Racing, Ahmed Al-Hati, who was a WEC driver until last season, and latterly as a GTE car, again with Ahmed.
And of course, TF Sport and Ahmed and Oman Racing are still associated in the European Le Mans Series.
So great stuff to see this car back, and we are expecting, I know there's some disappointment, we didn't see a couple more GTE cars here, but we are expecting more as this just beds in. Here's Jean-Baptiste Le Hay, 2:14.328 last time around, against a 2:13.9. So the rot stopped a little there by Jean-Baptiste. That might be enough.
I'm starting to feel that Perraudot is going to definitely have him in visible contact. Let's hold the shot, waiting to see whether or not Perraudot is in sight. No, he's not, even at the bottom of the Kemmel Straight as Jean-Baptiste gets to the top.
That was the lap on which Francois went way wide to avoid the incident, and Jean-Baptiste did not have...
Well, he sort of also did, but I think Francois had yellow flags, so he slowed down probably earlier.
Stuart Wiltshire has pitted his Peugeot.
Yep, so 2 of the 3 Peugeots have returned to the box.
On a day where Peugeot's contemporary WEC team take their first ever pole position, are they going to take a win here as well?
See, now, if I was running those cars, if I was Bob Berridge, I might be going and saying, hey, do you fancy a bit of a run out in one?
Well, I mean, Tudis, I think, is odds-on to be part of Bob's plan to run a 9X8 in the Asian Le Mans Series this coming season.
Wow.
Pro-Am hypercars coming. Could well be
Change of place here. Stuart Wiltshire getting back ahead of Alfie Briggs after the spin.
That's Crichton.
Was that the leader going by?
That's Crichton going by.
Okay.
So there's Manu Collard there on pit wall watching his mate Francois Perraudot. Keeping an eye on...
Possible track limit infringement there.
9 minutes to go. The gap between Le Hay and Perraudot now 11.5 seconds.
Yeah, so the minutes per second has stretched out a little bit. He's now got to hurry up a bit more. Yevgeny Kiryev very definitely 4 wheels inside the white line here.
And Yevgeny...
Yeah, hard to argue that one.
Yeah, and he is trying to catch Alfie Briggs back out on track in the Level 5 Racing Lola.
Yeah, Alfie Briggs down now to 9th place, second in the invitational class. And Yevgeny Kiryev is 10th overall, but still 5th in LMP2.
8.5 minutes remain. Car 35, a 5-second penalty. That is Rinaldi Racing's Pierrette.
Yeah.
That will drop him further back from David Cheng, who's having a good race, by the way, in his return to the cockpit. Third place.
And wasn't he just kind of full of the fun of it and the enthusiasm of it? We bumped into him in the paddock yesterday evening, and he was absolutely loving it.
Lovely to see him back, and I know he's been looking for a way back to racing for a little wee while. You said he'd raced a couple of times in the last year or so. That was in a teeny-weeny prototype, the
kind of Funyo or something.
Funyo, basically
Funyo,
the Funyo think French radical.
Right, okay.
It's another tiny manufacturer, and Funyo have a class within a race, of all things, on the HSR calendar in the United States.
Funyo sounds like it's a very Gen Z company name, but there we go. No, so I would actually, when we had dinner yesterday evening, I was chatting to Sam Hignett, the boss of Jotasport, and I was saying David Cheng's back. He said, hasn't he just had a baby like 3 weeks ago or 3 days ago or something? I said, yeah. And he said, and now he's choosing to come back to racing. Oh, yeah, I know. And he said the same to us. I know, but you know, you don't often get the opportunities, you know, to do things. Well, and if they come along, sometimes you just have to go with it.
He's certainly been sniffing around this drive for a wee while, and it's great, as I said, to have him back. I'm sure he'll be back as part of the Classic Le Mans grid. It'll be a much bigger grid, I'm sure, for these cars of this Legends of Le Mans series there. This is Alfie Briggs, and there is Yevgeny Kiryev, and that gap is coming down. Meanwhile, by the way, 6.5 minutes to go. The gap, Perodo to LaHaye, or rather LaHaye to Perodo, 9.5 seconds now. He's running out of time to get there.
Yeah.
But David Cheng, meanwhile, puts in his fastest lap of the race. He's getting his eye back in. Not literally.
We talked a little bit about this in qualifying, didn't we, in free practice today, that this is an intimidating circuit if you haven't been here before, or in Dave's case, if you haven't been here for quite a while. It is still a place that the ambient speed is very high, the percentage of full throttle running is very high, and the ability to chuck it off and do yourself some damage is also pretty high. I mean, it is a modern Grade 1 circuit, but it's not slow. This is a quick place, and particularly the Eau Rouge-Rédillon sequence really demands a lot of courage from a driver.
Courage and commitment as this battling pair deals with the rejoined Michael Doppenmeier. Michael circulating back 7th in LMP2. How's the battle going on with Francois Perodo? Coming down by 10th, but we're now in the sector where he takes a big chunk normally out of the advantage.
And Alfie Briggs outbrakes himself, and Yevgeny Kiryev drives all the way around the outside. Nicely done. And he's got the inside line for the hairpin at La Source. Briggs will try and take the racing line on the outside. That's the grippier bit of track. Can Kiryev control it at the apex? He does. Nice little battle between these two. Well done. Ooh, here we go.
He's coming back at him.
Side by side into Eau Rouge.
Nissan versus Judd Power. It's the Judd now in Judd V8 in the Lola, and Nissan V8 in the Oreca. Alfie does that.
And I think if, again, you know, in my head, if I'm a Yevgeny Kiryev, you're coming down the inside into Eau Rouge, okay, away you go. I'll just tow up behind you on the Kemmel Straight. That's a much more straightforward position to try and make the pass.
4.5 minutes to go. Francois Perodo now 7 seconds back from Jean-Baptiste LaHaye.
But no longer putting in personal fastest laps, whereas these two, David Cheng and Pierrette both are. And these two are not either. The only two cars that are quicker at this stage of the race than they have been at any other are David Cheng and Pierre Arret.
Yep. just think again, here comes back again Evgeny Kirev.
Interesting, isn't it? You know, how the two different cars are making very, very similar lap times, but in very different parts of the track.
Yeah, it almost seemed as if Alfie let that go. I wonder if he's just got...
Ooh.
That did look as if he was getting a bit too deep in there, didn't it?
I wonder if he's just running out of brakes a little. 41 coming across the line, David Cheng. And there is 39. Now that car's
Mark Drain
down, isn't it? Mark Drain, yeah.
So Mark, I think, enjoying his run here. So it's a car that looks divide opinion. I think it's a beautiful little thing. There's others that really, really don't. Car 37, by the way, that is the third place car of Marcel Ibi, will be getting a 5-second penalty. That will drop him out of overall third place, although it won't, because Jean-Baptiste Lehay will not, his position will not count. But it's getting to the stage where Francois Perraudot could claim third overall here.
Well, Francois Perraudot is only 7 seconds behind Marcel Ibi at the moment, and we have another 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. And
Mark Drain, clattered it across the curves. That threw him across into the path of David Cheng.
David Cheng said, make your mind up.
2.5 minutes to go. Kreitland 2 is 22 seconds to good now in the mighty Peugeot. The 908 HDI FAP, the V12 engine monster. And trouble for David Cheng. Just goes to show power cycling, not just in the modern era.
Has he, do you know, in all of that twiddling, has he knocked something off?
I wonder, he would have had to react to Mark Drain's.
But he's a long way further round on the lap. So unless it sort of knocked off fuel pumps or something, it seems really unlikely. That's a real shame for David Cheng. Fun race ruined in the last 2 minutes by the car deciding 2 minutes more than it wanted to do. I'll do a 38-minute race for you. I won't do 40.
Just looking, by the way, I think this may be the penultimate lap for our 21 and 83. This is going to be really close. Perraudot now under 4 seconds back. Jean-Baptiste Lehay 3.5 seconds back from Marcel Ibi. So Francois just needs to find a 1.5 seconds, and he will be third place.
Yes. Marcel Ibi's last lap at 2:13.5, Perraudot's a 2:10.0, so he's 3.5 seconds a lap quicker than the car in third place.
And that, by the way, is the fastest lap of Francois Perraudot's race. Here's another lap being put on, this time Pierre Arret by race leader Kreitland Tudis. Minutes to go, so he'll do one more lap, which means that, I see, that's even better for Perraudot because he gets the rest of this lap and another lap. He does, and there's a bit of traffic around as well at the moment. So Francois Perraudot, the moment coming through sector 2, he's right with Jean-Baptiste Lehay, a couple of seconds back from him, and in a part of the track where the strength is in the Porsche rather than the Pescarolo.
And he is closing right up on Marcel Ibi. They are at, by the time they get to the bus stop, it will be third, fourth and fifth overall all together.
So Ibi's had a bit of a stumble somewhere.
So Ibi, Lehay and Perraudot, but they've all been, Perraudot's been closing on Ibi and Lehay's been closing on Ibi and Perraudot's been closing on both of them, and they are now all together coming up the hill.
All with Michael Doppelmayr in the middle of the sandwich, by the way, as well. Last lap it is. Here comes Marcel Ibi. There is...
And there's Perraudot at the top of the shot.
There we go. This is going to be a last lap fun. This middle sector of this lap is going to be real fun.
Yeah. Yes, because that's where Perraudot has to get it done. He has to make all his inroads realistically in the middle sector, because these two cars, although it did sound like Lehay missed a gear there and was on the limiter. Marcel Ibi down the hill, Jean-Baptiste Lehay with the green highlights, and in the back of the shot, Francois Perraudot. And don't forget, Ibi with a 5-second penalty, and Perraudot is 1.29 plus 2.6 behind. That's 4 seconds, not 5 seconds. So at the moment, Perraudot doesn't need to make the pass. He just needs to stay close.
7:14 for the leader, and he's got a clear run to the flag from there, having dealt with Mark Drain. But
stroking it home, I'm sure he's at least a gear higher through these corners than would normally need to be the case. If not 2, just using the awesome torque of this HDI FAP engine.
By the way, the background there was Pierre Arret. He's profited from the misfortune of David Cheng, who has not rejoined, and Pierre up into third in LMP2. But here comes the race leader.
Checkered flag awaits for Crichton Lentudis. He takes victory in the Peugeot, and it will be a handy margin over Michel Frey in second place. It should still be Marcel Ibi who comes across the line in third. Pierre Arret has taken the checker, but look at this. That is Jean-Baptiste Lahaye. And Francois Perraudin is right. He's gone by them both.
No,
he's right by them, right behind them. Perraudin in the second red and white car. And this is third, fourth and fifth overall. Now, he doesn't know there's a time penalty, so he just wants to pass these two cars up the hill. Can he get Jean-Baptiste Lahaye under braking at the bus stop, or will he be too far back? He's going to be too far back, even for the Porsche, to close that distance. Lahaye puts the car in the defensive zone. Can he go underneath him? He can't. Oh, Perraudin really wrestling the car through there. Marcel Ibi third at the line from Jean-Baptiste Lahaye and Francois Perraudin.
That will readjust.
It has readjusted already. So Jean-Baptiste Lahaye, the Invitational class car, third overall. Francois Perraudin wins LMP2 and fourth overall. And Marcel Ibi down to fifth place. And in LMGTE, there is no Pro-Am here. Klaus Wunderlich in the deep breath Fanta Racing Legend by Code Classic Aston Martin Vantage V8.
Yes, indeed. Away they come, and that's the win for France.
Just as well, it's a long car. You've got to get all of that written down the side of it.
Big Aston Martin Racing fan. And
who isn't?
Has a wonderful collection of these cars in GT3 and GTE form. That car onto pit lane, and it will be the little Lotus that comes home to take the second place. And another race finish for the Evora.
Yeah. So we're starting to clock up more than it got in period.
I think so.
And so, so that time penalty has been converted to a car 35 drive-through, converted to 30-second penalty. That's Pierre Arret for a fifth infringement of track limits.
Has that been added? Because if it hasn't been added...
Hasn't quite been added. Marcel Ibi got close to that. He had only 5 seconds, but I think he had another track limits infringement after that was notified, so he nearly got up to the full 5.
Car 8
under investigation. Crichton Lentudis.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know.
There's Andy Cummings in trouble. Andy did not take the finish.
No, he hasn't, has he? He has not got round.
Now, I don't know whether or not ACO rules apply here. If ACO rules apply, you have to take the finish.
Now, Crichton does not know where to go. Everybody else was funneled into the entrance to the downhill pit lane, the classic pit lane. He went by it, and that's why he's under investigation for not having paid attention in driver's briefing.
That'll be it.
And so now he's kind of, OK, now where? Anthony Davidson, Marc Genet, and Marc Duez. Or is that, no, Alexander Wurz, that was the third drive. There's two new for Marc Duez. Yeah, so another ex-Anthony Davidson chassis here.
And still racing, amazingly, despite the fact Anthony raced it.
Yeah. This isn't one of the ones that he bounced on its head, though, so that's fair enough. Is this a car he will have won here within 2011? I'm not sure.
Check with this chassis. I've written the histories on all these chassis somewhere. We'll have a quick look at it. But storied cars, wonderful machines.
Yeah.
And, you know, history, it sort of dulls the memory sometimes, doesn't it? But a car adored by the drivers that raced it.
Yep.
Absolutely dominant in everything other than 24 hours racing.
We were talking about that this morning, actually, and Anthony said, you know, when his Formula One career started to unravel, Super Aguri had kind of died a bit, and he got a couple of bits and pieces, and then had a meeting with Peugeot, and then they phoned him up and said, come to Paris and talk to us, and it just ignited a second glorious career that left him as a world champion and in love with the sport again. There you go, from the start, Crichton Lentudis being dive-bombed by Michel Frey. Everybody else kind of got through. Now we understand why the 28 car of Alexandre Leroy dropped down. He actually dropped wheels in the gravel on the exit of La Source. At the rolling start, Sean Lynn came in and bailed out. The car went did not even start the race. And then Alfie Briggs and the black machine working his way up the order. It took 3 or 4 laps for Lentudis to fully trust the grip in the car. And when he did, he was through past Michel Frey and never looked back. Evgeny Kiryev also testing the veracity of the gravel traps. Little moment under braking here as Leroy came back past
Andy Cummings.
Yeah, Andy Cummings, yes, absolutely. Again, not quite sure how Andy Cummings ended up not getting to the line. Francois Perrodo around the outside of the returning David Cheng. The Porsche RS Spyder, he said, with grip to give away. It certainly showed it there, didn't it?
Yeah, more grip than a really pointy carpet gripper rod in that car. I'm not very happy, Alexander Roy.
And that wasn't even the wheel he dipped into the gravel on lap 1. It was the other side of the car that punctured. A spin.
Stuart Wiltshire
Was kind of really predicated the end of his race there, Stuart Wiltshire. And I wonder whether that was an incident that was not the driver overextending himself, but maybe possibly something with the car not doing what it did ought to.
This is Evgeny Kiryev having a fine battle with Alfie Briggs. Alfie in the black Lola and Evgeny in the G-Drive liveried Oreca 05.
And then end of the race, or nearly 2 minutes from the end of the race for David Cheng. The car decided it had done enough, and so he doesn't make it to the end. Victory, though, for Crichton Lentudis. The margin just over 22.5 seconds from Michel Frey in second place. And Francois Perrodo at the back of this shot, finishing in third place and first in LMP2, with our GTE winner being Franz Wunderlich.
So the results have been adjusted to accommodate the invitation cars not counting for the overall. That means Francois Perrodo is scored on the overall podium, as well as the win in LMP2. Marcel Ibi with that penalty 3 seconds back from him on the LMP1 podium. But not on the overall. Andy Cummings has finished second in the JWA Motorsport Oak Pescarolo, with Evgeny Kiryev in the front row racing entered G-Drive Racing Oreca 05. You said a little earlier, the Fanta Racing Legend by Co-Classic. Franz Wunderlich pedalled Aston Martin, number 25, taking the win in GTE from the Comotec GmbH. Number 13, Lotus Sephora of Professor Wolfgang Hensler.
David Cheng just then being brought in on the end of a tow rope, so nothing majorly wrong with the car, other than it just seems to have run out of the will to go. He has been classified 6th in LMP2 and the 10th placed finisher ahead of Professor Wolfgang Hensler.
As indeed as Andy Cummings, by the way,
yep.
Despite stopping, there is Andy. So that is the classified finish as things stand. Andy out the car, so whatever the issue, they'll get that car, I'm sure, squared off and ready. That is the Legends of Le Mans ambassador.
Yep. Wolfgang Ulrich with the president of the ACO, Sir Pierre Fillon.
Yep, so they'll be watching on. This is a new experiment for the organisation in providing this support package for the FIWC here in Europe. And, you know, at the moment, against our expected timetable, these cars will also race in Bahrain.
Yes, so whatever the world brings us towards the end of the season. See, on the back fin, I hadn't noticed the Jackie Chan Film Academy is helping to sponsor. Now, I don't think that's a period sponsor.
No.
So Jan Mardenborough possibly might have enjoyed being part of Jackie Chan DC Racing. I can't imagine how you wouldn't.
Star of film, with the Gran Turismo movie, of course, Jan Mardenborough.
Well, he wasn't actually, but somebody playing him was.
Tell you the story about the guys on the way back to the Dubai Historic Festival, sitting next to me in front of me, watching that film, and asked at the end whether or not they'd enjoyed it. The answer was that they had, at which point I introduced them to Jan, who was sitting just opposite them.
So somebody played them and somebody also played the commentator.
Great stuff. Yeah, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either. So, yeah.
So there we go. That is the third race in the altogether short history at the moment. And, we wait for the podium to come together. That might be a little while because, as we saw, Andy Cummings not in pit lane at the moment. great action from the assembled LMP1, LMP2 and GTE cars in the Legends of Le Mans.
And don't forget, this is just the first of the 2 races this weekend. 9:20 tomorrow morning, 08:20 British summertime, 07:20 Greenwich Mean Time. We will be back with race 2 of Legends of Le Mans. So we'll hopefully have a moment or two to see our drivers up on the podium, because who doesn't want to be on the podium at Spa-Francorchamps?
It's great to have this series, which helps people like me with not a very long memory with feeling nostalgic, preparing for the podium. And pretty clearly, it looks like the ACO president and Dr. Ulrich are going to be a part of that celebration. Impressive podium here this weekend. I wonder what we're supporting. Could it be the WC?
Yeah, every chance, I think. I think there are subtle hints there.
So we're just waiting for the drivers to make their way here, and then we'll get underway with the podium ceremony.
Do they not know we've got stuff to get on with?
It's Marcel Leby in the number 37 car, this ex-Intersport car.
Still third in LMP1, by the way,
yes,
although
indeed.
he was not on the overall podium.
And by the way, Marcel, if you're watching, congratulations. Didn't see a speck of gravel there. Not one. This is Michel Frey, second. So second and third on the podium for the wonderful big banger Judd V10 powered Lolas. This looks a slightly offset rear spoiler, that, from this angle. But Michel did well there. But Crackland as it was that came home with the win, and his marvellous Peugeot 908 HDI FAP, the V12 turbo diesel monster.
So not only have we got 2 of the 3 former drivers here, because Alex Wurz is working with Toyota Racing and Anthony Davidson, part of the commentary crew for WEC, but the team boss as well. Because Bruno Fama, who ran the team, is now working not with Peugeot, not with Alpine anymore, but with the FIA and the ACO.
With the ACO as a new sporting
absolutely.
director. Don't think Andy Cummings is going to make the podium here.
Well, not unless they get a shufty on. They've got a flatbed. That's not going to be the quickest way back.
Yeah, that is the worst word in the world for a driver, dépannage. So Andy...
Abandon is worse, actually.
Fair enough.
Dépannage just means you're broken down. Abandon means you're out of the race, sunshine, whether you want to be or not.
Well, with the moments looming for another support race here, the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux is also on the WC package this weekend, and they're going to have to get moving. We are, I think, unlikely to see the full podium. Well, I thought pretty good stuff there. It was certainly spirited from Francois Perraudot. Michel Frey hung on in there as best he possibly could. It bodes well for a little bit of argy-bargy tomorrow. Yeah,
hopefully there'll be a little bit more participation from the Peugeots, who wilted very quickly on the Vine. The Orica liveried car not even making the start, and Stuart Wilsh's car not making the finish.
Need to find out from Stuart, from Sean Lynn, what went on with that. Well, thanks for joining us for Legends of Le Mans. There'll be another race tomorrow at what time, Martin?
It is. We will be on air at 9:20 Central European Summertime, 8:20 British Summertime, 07:20 Greenwich Mean Time. And that will be followed by, as we have been this evening, race 2 for Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. But for the moment, it is goodbye, au revoir from Spa for Le Mans Legends.